I believe self-sabotage is one of the most misunderstood, life-constraining and damaging of all behaviours. I also believe it's the most common, with most people engaging with it at some stage of their lives, whether they've realised it or not. And not only does it stop us achieving what we want, but it can also steadily erode our happiness and destroy our self-esteem. Now in this episode, I will explain why we do self-sabotage our own lives and what triggers this destructive behaviour. And I'll also share with you a 4-step action plan that you can follow to stop you from sabotaging your life anymore. So let's start with the most obvious question. Why do we sabotage our own lives? What on earth is going on when we stop ourselves from getting what we want to have or what we want to achieve? What triggers this irrational, harmful behaviour? Well, to help me explain what's happening, I want you to imagine you're a cow. Trust me, it will make sense in a while, hopefully. So, imagine you're a cow growing up in this field. And beyond your field, in every direction you look, all you can see for miles and miles is open farmland and woods and rivers and lakes. Now, of course, you realise you're too young at the moment to move away from your field and go and explore and experience everything the world has to offer. But you believe that when you are older, you'll be free to go anywhere you want and do whatever you want. However, the farmer, well, he has his own ideas on where you should live and what you should do and who you should see. So he builds an electric fence around the field he wants to keep you confined in. And you, as the young cow, have no idea there are now boundaries in your life. There are now limits on where you can go and what adventures you can have. And so time passes and eventually the day comes where you feel ready to explore the world beyond your field. You believe it's time for you to experience the woods and the rivers and the lakes you've watched from a distance for all those years. So you start walking towards the edge of your field to start your adventure and then, ouch, you receive an electric shock. It hurts and stunned, you retreat back to the safety of your field. You're confused, you don't know what to make of it all. But a few weeks later, the memory of the electric shock has faded and you feel confident enough to try again. So you amble up to the edge of your field and then, ouch, it's happened again. You received another electric shock. You just don't understand why you keep getting hurt. You can see them. You can see the other cows in the fields beyond. You can see them having different experiences than you, but you just cannot get there. And you keep trying. You try again and again and again. You keep trying to leave your field, but every time you try to leave, you get hurt. Until eventually, you give up. You just can't face any more electric shocks, so you just stop trying to leave your field. You've just accepted that this is now your life and you're powerless to change it. So let me try to explain to you what a cow in a field with an electric fence around the perimeter has to do with self-sabotage. You have no beliefs when you're born. Your senses soaking up every new sight, sound and smell as the world unfolds before you. Each day delivering new experiences, new adventures, new challenges, and as each opportunity to grow and develop arises, you eagerly grab it with both hands, with absolutely no idea of what failure is. You want to walk, so you'll get up and you'll fall flat on your face, and you'll get up again and fall, and get up and fall, and get up and fall, and then you roll around a bit, and then despite all of those failures, you will try again tomorrow. And you'll do that for months, until slowly but surely you learn to walk. Now this stage of your life is like the young cow in the field. He can see miles and miles of farmland and woods and rivers and streams, thinking he is free to roam anywhere he likes and do whatever he likes whenever he is ready to do so. And just like you as a child, he has no limits on what he thinks he can do or achieve. However, as the cow waits for the right time for him to go and explore the world and have all these new experiences, limits are already being put in place. Because, unknown to the cow, the farmer is building an electric fence around him. Now, as a child, you're waiting for the right time to go out and explore the world and have new experiences. But limits are already being put in place in your life. Because, unknown to you, as you grow and you develop, you start forming a belief system. Now, of course, as a young child, you have no pre-programmed ideas on what's possible and not possible. So you look to the environment around you for guidance. You watch and listen to your parents and absorb their beliefs. You listen to and watch your teachers and absorb their beliefs. And as you start growing up, you will listen to and watch your friends and television and radio, and neighbours and newspapers, boyfriends, girlfriends, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, cousins, and you absorb all their beliefs. And that's how you develop your belief system. And to continue with the cow in the field analogy, everything that you believe is possible, everything that you believe you can have, everything you believe you can achieve, they're all within reach, right in front of you, all contained within your field. Now, in contrast, everything that you don't believe is possible, everything you don't believe you can have, and everything you don't believe you can achieve, well, they're all situated in the fields in the distance. You can see them, yes, but they're out of reach. So what causes us to self-sabotage then? Well, let me take you back to the cow in the field again to help me explain. So the first time the cow goes off on an adventure, he doesn't know there's an electric fence there keeping him enclosed. So he ventures out, goes to try something new and receives an electric shock. It hurts, he retreats. And we do the exact same thing. As young adults, we'll go and try something new. We're totally unaware that we have limiting beliefs. So we keep going right to the edge of our belief systems, and then, ouch, we get the equivalent of an electric shock, which is delivered by our subconscious mind. In other words, we self-sabotage. Self-sabotage is our subconscious mind stopping us from achieving something that, deep down, we don't believe we can have, or we don't believe is possible, or we don't believe we deserve. Self-sabotage is your mind's electric fence, ensuring you stay and you live within the boundaries of your beliefs. And here are a few examples to help me show you how this works. Let's say your parents had a fiery relationship when you were growing up and eventually divorced. You would have heard the arguments, felt the pain of either parent, and been afraid of what the future held. Now, unknown to you, these events would have created a set of beliefs about relationships, marriage, how individuals behave when they're sharing their lives, and maybe even if you should have children or not. And then you grow up, you start dating and everything goes well, and things get more serious, you fall in love, maybe you start talking about marriage or moving in together, and then suddenly you start acting like an idiot, and you don't even know why. You criticise everything they do, or dismiss their ideas out of hand, or maybe argue against everything they ever say, or even go and have an affair or a one-night stand. This is you self-sabotaging. Why? You've hit the same electric fence as the cow. You've reached the limits of your beliefs. Because you witness the arguing and the eventual divorce of your parents, you have formed a belief that relationships cause anger or pain or suffering or hurt. So the moment your relationship becomes too serious, your subconscious mind steps in and protects you, and it does it by destroying the relationship. It will keep you within the limits of what you believe to be true. Okay, another example, money. Let's say your parents worked hard, they paid their way in life, but it was always a struggle. You can remember them telling you as a youngster, money doesn't grow on trees, Maybe your dad also distrusted rich people, almost as if they must have done something dishonest to have that much wealth. Again, growing up in this environment would have formed your beliefs about money. Beliefs like you have to work hard to earn it, or money is hard to come by, or rich people are dishonest and people like us will never be rich. If they're your beliefs, you cannot break their boundaries. So the moment you can earn or invest or save more money than you actually believe is possible, you're going to sabotage it. You will fail in the job interview, or if you run your own business, you'll keep making mistakes to keep the profits just within the limits of what you believe is possible. Or if you're saving money, something's going to happen to blow it before you save more than you believe you can. Or even if it's not you that actually loses the money, something's going to happen in your life to dispose of it for you. Maybe your car will suddenly need £2,000 spending on it, or the roof of your house will suddenly develop a leak, or you'll receive an unexpected tax bill. And listen, I'm not joking. Whatever you believe to be true about money will be true for you. Your subconscious mind will always find a way to keep you within the boundaries of what you believe you can earn, save, or be worth. Okay, one last example, weight. If you grew up and watched your mother struggle with her weight, if you felt her pain when she became too self-conscious to wear summer clothes in public, if you can remember her barely eating anything for weeks but then having periods where she'd binge eat for days, well, then you're going to have a damaging set of beliefs on food, weight, nutrition and your overall health. So if you become overweight, you'll decide what weight you would want to be and then you'll go on a diet. And it will all go well. Week after week you lose weight, right until the brink of you reaching your ideal weight, and then bang, You'll suddenly start binge eating junk food, or you'll suddenly find many excuses for not exercising anymore, and your weight will start to climb again. That's self-sabotage. That's your subconscious keeping you within the boundaries of what you believe to be true for you. Now, you would have thought, since we're the most intelligent species ever to grace this planet, that one episode of self-sabotage would be enough to teach us to do things slightly differently next time. Oh no, we don't learn our lesson, we just keep repeating the behaviour. If we self-sabotage one relationship, we'll learn nothing and we'll go out and start another one. We get close to them, we fall in love, everything is perfect, and then wham, you'll suddenly find a way to destroy that relationship. And you'll do it again and again and again. Or if you put on weight, you'll go on a diet. And you'll lose all the weight, right up to within a few pounds of what you want to weigh, and then wham, you put the weight back on again. So you go out and you'll find another diet to go on, and you'll start losing the weight again. But then, again, you nearly reach your target, and then for reasons you cannot even explain, you'll go out and eat your body weight in Mars bars. And so the cycle continues. You keep sabotaging your life until eventually, one day, you give up even trying. Just like the cow who stops trying to leave his field because he's fed up of getting electrocuted, sooner or later, you'll do the same. If your relationships keep ending badly, one day you're just going to think to yourself, honestly, these relationships aren't worth it. I keep hurting the other person, I keep making the same mistakes, I'm just not cut out for being in a relationship. I'm not going to go through all this hassle anymore, I'm not going to go through all this pain anymore. Or if you never reach your ideal weight you want to be, sooner or later you're going to give up. You have kept trying, you've gone on diet after diet after diet, and you always go back to the weight you were. You can't face going through that pain anymore, you can't face the torment of that anymore, so you give up trying. Okay, so let me quickly recap why we self-sabotage. So first, you form your beliefs through the opinions of others whilst you're growing up. Second, you live most of your life within the limits of your beliefs, but when you do occasionally try to do something that goes beyond what you believe to be possible, your subconscious mind acts like an electric fence, keeping you within the boundaries of your beliefs by self-sabotaging your efforts. And then third, you continue to repeat the self-sabotaging until eventually you give up trying at all. Now I know that must all sound depressing, but actually I've got some good news for you. Because once you realise that you sabotage some areas of your life, it is a behaviour that is quite easy to stop. And here's a 4-step action plan to help you achieve just that. Step 1. Try to uncover any areas of your life where you suspect you have been sabotaging. And to help you do that, focus on the areas of your life that repeatedly go wrong. Another thing you can do is take notice of your own negative commentary. So for example, if you ever think, oh, I'm no good with money, or I'll never be able to start my own business, or I'm no good at relationships, then the chances are you would have been sabotaging those areas of your life. Now, of course, some episodes of self-sabotage may be big, massive, obvious ones. You know, for instance, every time you're engaged, you freak out and emigrate. But many will be far more subtle. So subtle, in fact, that you may have never been aware of what you were doing before now. So ask yourself this: why have I got the life I have now? What's great about it, and what would I like to change? And the areas of my life that I would like to change, how long have I been trying to change that? Because if there's parts of your life that you've been trying to change for years and you haven't managed to do it yet, then the chances are you're subconsciously sabotaging your own efforts. Step 2. Try to understand where your limiting belief has come from. Because a self-limiting belief is the root cause of all self-sabotaging behaviour. And if you know what happened in your life to form that belief, it's going to be far easier for you to challenge it and to change it. And to help you unearth the cause of your limiting belief, I would suggest looking back at your childhood. Think about your parents and your neighbours and your school friends, or any traumatic period of your young life. The cause of your belief is going to be buried in there somewhere. Okay? Step 3. Change the limiting belief. A deep-rooted belief that you may have held for 20, 30, 40 or maybe even 50 years, it's going to take some effort from you to change. And I'm going to share with you now the 2 things I did to change my beliefs. And maybe they'll work for you as well. So the first thing I did was study the brain. I wanted to demystify my thoughts, my beliefs, my memories and cognitive functions. I found that when I stripped my brain down to just a functioning organ that actually on its own doesn't have any limiting beliefs or negative thoughts or harmful memories, it made it far easier for me to alter and change the beliefs I wanted to. And the second thing I did was I became an expert on the areas of my life I was sabotaging. Because whatever area of your life you're sabotaging, there will be resources available for you to learn how to do it properly. There's thousands of books on how to increase self-esteem. There's thousands of books on how to have successful relationships. There's thousands of books on how to make, save or invest money. There's thousands of books on diet and nutrition and health and fitness. My advice is to commit to learning as much as you possibly can about any area of your life you're continually struggling to be successful in. Say to yourself, I know I keep failing at this part of my life and I just refuse to put up with it anymore. But I'm not just going to learn the basics now. I'm going to learn so much about it, I'm going to become a leading expert on the subject. Okay? Final step. Step 4. Become more self-aware. Now hopefully the previous 3 steps will stop you from ever sabotaging your life again. But you need to keep a watch on it. You need to be aware just in case you start sabotaging again in the future. And I would suggest that you write down exactly what you do when you start to sabotage. Do you argue? Do you become withdrawn? Do you procrastinate? Do you get depressed? You need to clearly define what actions or feelings you have when you start to self-sabotage. Then once you know what you do or how you feel, you'll be aware of it if it happens again in the future. And this gives you the opportunity to stop yourself sabotaging your life before any damage has been done. Okay, so they are the 4 steps you can take to stop self-sabotaging behaviour. But what if you can't correct the behaviour on your own? What if you know what you actually sabotage, you know how you sabotage, and you know what causes the sabotage, but you still keep on doing it anyway? Well, my advice for you then is simple. Go and seek professional help. And if you're at this stage, you've already done 90% of the work needed to stop it. You just need a little bit of help, a little bit of guidance with the final 10%. And believe me, it will be far easier getting the right help when you have the clarity to go somewhere and sit in front of them and say, I keep self-sabotaging my happiness. I know it's because of a self-limiting belief I developed when I was growing up with my dad, who suffered from severe depression. As soon as I have prolonged periods of happiness, I start searching for things to be negative about. I intentionally look for problems to worry about. I know I sabotage my own happiness because I feel guilty about being happy. I believe it's wrong to be too happy. Could you help me, please? You see, you've done all the hard work, you've diagnosed the problem. You just need a little help and support with the cure, that's all. And if you're in that situation, I do hope this episode has inspired you enough to get the help you need. Also hope this episode has inspired you enough to evaluate your own life and motivated you enough to challenge your beliefs. Because we all think we're our own person. We all believe we have free choice, free will. But ask yourself this, who are you? No, honestly, think about this. Who are you, really? You're only mind. And within the depths of your mind are your beliefs. And you can never be more successful than your beliefs allow. You will never be able to outperform your beliefs. And we live our lives with this internal battle going on between our conscious and our subconscious mind. Consciously, we're continuously trying to better ourselves, trying to gain that promotion, trying to start a business, trying to earn more money, trying to get fitter, trying to lose weight, trying to create a better life for our families and us. But if our subconscious doesn't believe it's possible, a battle begins. A battle that our subconscious mind always wins. So don't fight your beliefs, you've got to change them. And you have every right to change them, they weren't even your beliefs in the first place. Make a promise to yourself right now that you will stop repeating the same mistakes over and over again. Because the more you keep doing it, the harder it's going to be for you to change. And the longer it goes on, the more damage you're going to inflict on your own life and on the lives of the people you love. And the longer it goes on, the less time you'll have left in your life to achieve everything you want to achieve. Now, of course, it's your choice, but I believe in you. I believe this is your time. Go out now and free yourself from the self-imposed boundaries you're living in and free yourself from the torment and frustration that brings. Go out now and for the first time feel confident enough to explore and experience everything life has to offer beyond the confines of your existing beliefs, because this week, these days, this now is going to pass anyway. So why not make this now a super now? A super now that just makes you go, wow. Hi, it's Grant J. Marsh, and I hope you enjoyed that episode. If you would like to receive further content and free training materials, please head over to supernowwow.com. If you would like to support the show, then I would be extremely grateful. Please subscribe to the show on iTunes if you haven't already, and leave an honest review of the show. Or, if you can put up with staring at me for each episode, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel Grant J. Marsh. Finally, I would be absolutely thrilled if you join me on Facebook at Grant J. Marsh Fan. That's Grant J. Marsh Fan, where every day I try to post inspiring content for you. Thank you so much for your support, it means a lot. And remember, today's going to pass anyway, so make this now a super now that just makes you go wow.